Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. So I've made this video so you guys have a chance of affording really good equipment. So you don't have to settle with stuff that costs $500 or a couple of $1,000. This is a good way to make sure that you most likely, if you have a regular wage, that you will be able to maybe afford an amplifier 1 year and then a speaker another year, or a DAC 1 year, so you don't have to basically settle with rubbish gear. We don't want that. So here we are. Point one is that I only drink water, meaning that it makes me stay healthy, and I save a lot of money on not buying soda, beer, energy drink, stuff like that. So that will save you a lot of money in the long run. And point two is that I have no latte factor, meaning that I don't drink coffee or cake or sweets or hang out with friends or use money on snacks or go into gas stations, kiosks, or buy lottery tickets. And I also don't go to restaurants unless it's related and to work, for example, and they pay. So there's a lot of stuff, and especially transport and parking. I don't do any of that. No. I pretty much save money on that. So that will save you money in the long run, a lot of money. And point three is that previously I would have a diesel car instead of a petrol car to save basically money on diesel. So that's one of the reasons why I had a diesel car. And when I had my diesel car, I always changed the oil at 10,000 kilometers instead of 30 that was written in the car manual. So it gave me a more nice ride, and it was less noisy. And in the long run, it actually saved me quite a bit of money on repairing the car. So I'm glad I did that. But it's one of those things that seems as if you're using more money on the car, but you are in fact actually saving money on the car, because you have a steady expense that you can monitor. Whereas if you're one of those types that just wears out the car and drives it full out, and then suddenly you just get hit by these giant bills, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 to repair your car. And I made sure with my last diesel car that I had, that did not happen, because that happened previously with my other cars when I just stuck to what was written as the guidelines in the service book. And if you stick to those guidelines and you have a very cheap car, you are most likely going to get screwed by all the maintenance fees that exist once your car is between 5 to 12 years old. There will be a lot of car repairing bills you have to pay for. So that's a good way of avoiding those and probably getting rid of like a third of those bills. So that's a very good tip. And that amount of money that you save on your car can actually be equivalent to getting a really high performance stereo amplifier. So it's a very good tip. And also a very good tip is that I eat a very small amount of spices, because when you eat a very small amount of spices, then you don't crave sweet things, which also cost money. So I'm not perfect in that regard. I do sometimes have food that's too spicy and too sweet. So I'm not in any way perfect. But it's a trend that I noticed. When I have spicy food, I immediately have something bad afterwards. So just to tell you guys to be aware of that. And this is one of the really big ones. Actually, my family forced me out of the city. They didn't like the city life. I was happy with it, but I chose to move together with them many years ago, and I have not regretted that. That was one of the best decisions that they ever made for me. And it's a decision that a lot of people can't make because they're very comfortable living in the city. I was very comfortable. I had my friends there. It was easy to get to places. There's just a common reality of living in the city. So it's very difficult not living in the city. But let me explain why I did what I did. So you will save a huge amount of money in so many ways. Like the groceries are much more expensive in the city, and they're usually not quite as fresh. Then there's point B, where you constantly end up eating crap products because it's so easy and convenient, and it ends up costing a lot of money. All of these small things that you buy when you live in the city. And it's a thing that you don't really realize, but it's a really bad, annoying habit that you just can't get rid of because it's just so convenient. So you end up buying a salad for $2, $4, $6 maybe, and instead of making it yourself for like $1. And This also ends up making you more ill because you're eating spicy foods. It's not prepared as well. And also being ill costs a lot of money. I've tried that. Costs you a lot of money. Also cost you your job sometimes. And then again, when you don't live in the city, you don't have stupid friends to hang out with. When I say stupid friends, I mean counterproductive friends. You get a lot of those when you live in the city compared to many times when you're out of the city. Then you get to know people that are more real, more down to earth. And that's nice. It makes you evolve as a human being. So it's a very good tip. And also again, that the place that you get when you live in the city will end up costing you a hell of a lot of money compared to out of the city when you actually own your own house. And there are places you don't have to pay millions of dollars to get a house. You can get a pretty decent house for only like $100,000. It is possible, and when you end up